I'm Steve Skojak, and this is the OnePeterFive Minute. Well, the German bishops are at it again, and it has become increasingly clear that the Rhine never stopped flowing into the Tiber, at least not for the past half century or so. In a move that is somehow both shocking and unsurprising all at the same time, the German bishops have published their now infamous handout providing a path to intercommunion for Protestant spouses of Catholics, despite the Congregation for the Doctrine of the Faith explicitly telling them not to do so just last month. But wait, it gets better. They released the handout under the pretense that it's not an official document of the German Bishops' Conference. After all, if it's not their document, they technically didn't go against what the CDF ordered, right? With this latest little bit of German revolutionary spirit in mind, I want to take you for a stroll down memory lane, back to the halcyon days of 2015, when times were simpler and the German bishops were doing the exact same thing that they're doing now, actually, pushing hard for a path to communion for people who have no business receiving it. It was in March of that year that Cardinal Reinhard Marx, president of the German Bishops' Conference, said something pretty extraordinary. As regards the sacramental discipline on communion for the remarried that was, at the time, still up for grabs, Marx said, quote, "The Synod cannot prescribe in detail what we should do in Germany. We are not a subsidiary of Rome," end quote. But it wasn't long before Marx was singing a different, more conciliatory tune. In October of 2015, he said, quote, "We must try to remain together. The Church is the only institution in the world that can reach unanimous agreement. Thank God we have the Pope. We bishops do not have to decide. Church unity is not in danger. And once the Pope has decided, we will abide by his decision," end quote. As I speculated at the time, it seemed pretty likely that Marx had received some private assurances behind the scenes. It appeared he was told, play nice for the media because you're going to be getting exactly what you want anyway, which he absolutely did. Thanks, Amoris Laetitia. Today's story doesn't actually read much differently. Marx is again the man leading the charge as the president of the German Bishops' Conference on behalf of Intercommunion. But when Rome told the German bishops they needed to back off with the Pope's explicit stamp of approval on the rejection, we began hearing rumors of discontent in Deutschland. Rome's prescription was not, however, as it appeared on first glance, a rejection of the proposal to allow intercommunion. Nope. It was instead a rejection of the method by which the German bishops sought to introduce the practice. CDF prefect Archbishop Louis Ladaria said that the text was, quote, "not mature enough to be published," end quote. Catholics immediately began celebrating the CDF rejection as a win. After all, not only did the ball get punted right back into the face of the Germans, but the Pope put his personal stamp of approval on the rejection, only not so fast. Saying that a document isn't ready isn't remotely the same thing as saying it's wrong. In fact, what the Germans were really being told was only that they needed a great deal more subtlety in their approach. Now, I tried to caution people to look at why the Pope would reject this document, which advanced an issue he clearly supported based on public comments and gestures he'd made in the past. A week ago, Francis gave the first clue as to why. He told reporters on a plane, of course, on a plane, that the issue with the intercommunion handout was that it ran afoul of canon law, which, according to his interpretation, says that the bishop of a particular church is the one who gets to decide who can enjoy the privilege of intercommunion. By particular church, he means a local bishop. Something worked out in an episcopal conference, he said, quickly becomes universal. In other words, the German bishops were thinking too bigly, to borrow a phrase. If you want to atomize the faith, you've first got to break it down to the molecular level. It's a case of subsidiarity where subsidiarity doesn't belong. Is it any surprise then to learn that Cardinal Marx met with the Pope on June 12th, just 2 weeks after the CDF rejection came down the pike, and came out of that meeting repeating the same tune he was singing in 2015? In a jointly signed note by Pope Francis and Cardinal Marx, we read that the letter from the CDF rejecting the intercommunion proposal merely gives some recommendations, but does not give instructions to the German bishops. It's not telling them what to do because, you know, the German bishops are not a subsidiary of Rome, yeah? One wonders, however, considering just how much the Rhine has been flowing into the Tiber lately, whether Rome is a subsidiary of Germany. Rest assured, even if this issue is left to the local bishops, it will become the practice in the universal church. This is the path modeled by Amoris Laetitia, and it's not going away anytime soon. Thanks for watching the 1Peter5 Minute. We'll see you next time. How do you say his name? Is it Louis Ladaria? Is it Louis Ladaria? Ladaria! I'm just gonna go with Ladaria.